Hey guys, Paleo Greenbird here. I hope everyone's doing awesome. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're happy. Hope you're spending time with your family. And just thought I'd do a flint knapping video. I know it's been a long time, and I was kind of surprised to see there are people out there that actually want me to do more videos. Never really started this channel for that reason, but I've made some really awesome friends, so I really appreciate that. Oops, I got some stuff in here. I'm wearing gloves today just because it's been a while since I've been flint knapping, and I am working with the Obsidian here this first time. I'm going to put some notches in a little birdie point that I made a while back. Haven't napped in a while, been busy with a lot of things personal, health-wise, been in a little bit of a mental funk, all of that, but let's get back to it. So first, grab my eyes, super important. And what I have here, excuse me, is a little Obsidian bird point. Let me see if I can get a good view here. That's my neighbor's dog in the background. Barking is his favorite thing to do. See if I can get a good view. It's just a little itty-bitty one. But it was an obsidian flake made from, as a mahogany obsidian flake, and I decided I was going to turn it into a heart. It's a little bit on the long side, and I could trim it down, but I thought, you know what, let's just make this into a point. So the first thing I need to do, and I meant to do this before I started the camera, was is file down my pressure flaker. And this one seems to be really bent for some reason. I don't remember how I did that, but that's alright. I'll straighten it out another time. Right now it would be just fine. So Kenton, if you're watching this video, the reason I'm grinding real slow with this file is because if you heat this copper up, you'll weaken it. And then that thing, it'll just get dull really, really quickly. I apologize for the noise. I'm on my porch, which is only about 150 feet, maybe 200 feet from the highway. Not the highway, but a major road. And the trees around here are so tall that there's no real dampening of the sound. It comes in and just echoes and bounces all around, so I'd like to be a little bit deeper in the woods, but not today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it right at the corner. I'm going to do a corner notch, Kenton, and just come in with my pressure flaker. Maybe I'll zoom in just a little bit more. Alright, there we go. That's a little bit better. So this is the point that we're starting with. I'm just going to come right in at the base, because my guess is that when you get knapping with this kit and the stone that I sent you, you're probably going to get a lot of small flakes that you'll be able to turn into points. So my notcher's a little bit disheveled looking. It's off to the side. Ideally you want it straight. I do have other notchers I could use, but I'm just going to deal with it. In fact, I'm going to go against the curve though, just so maybe I can try and bend it back if that's the case. I don't know how that got bent. I'm just going to go right a little bit above the corner. Pop a flake off. Come back. Same thing. And what I like to do, and flint knapping is intuitive, so you'll find your own little way, but what I like to do is once I get a little bit of a notch there, I like to flip to the other side, because, you know, I have a tendency to sometimes stall notches, so I like them to be as symmetrical as possible. If I stall one, I'd rather stall it as close as I can to the depth of the other one than have one that's super deep and then the other one not so much. This is a little bit, I could have thinned this out a little bit more. I probably should have. I think I got impatient on this one. If you really want to see some techniques on thinning points out, there's a couple of pages that you'd really like to watch, and Dave Ten Bears is one of them. just does amazing work. It's just shocking how fast his skills went from 0 to far beyond mine. Same thing with Charles McKenney. It's another good page that you can follow. Jack Crafty, of course, who I believe is the first person who really introduced indirect percussion, at least maybe in the modern age. I don't know if it goes back historically. There are records of that. If anybody knows about that, maybe tell me. But that technique, as far as I know, he grandfathered that technique. So here we go. We've got some notches. I could dig these deeper if I wanted to, but honestly, from my experience, what I've learned is if I can haft them, that is as best as the notch needs to be. Let's dig this one a little bit deeper. Alright, it's starting to stall a little bit. Let's flip it. And if your notch does stall, it's typically because a flake didn't run down the bottom part. Okay, so if I'm flaking this way from here, I'm flaking. Sometimes you can pluck off a little bit too straight, not put enough inward pressure to drive that flake across, especially when you have a thick base like I have here. So we have notches. Now if I want to, I can trim this up and sharpen the edges a little bit. I don't like to sharpen the edges until I'm going to haft them, just because they clank around in my case and they get all beat up anyway. And you can see this isn't a super thin point. But for one, I struggle to make the super thin points. But two, I don't really mind the points that have a little bit more girth to them, because, you know, they can hit the dirt and maybe more than once. But those thin points are super satisfying, and, you know, I am striving to make those points. I just see a couple of high spots here that I'll trim up. And what I should really be using for some of this fine work is a horseshoe nail, which I have. Dave Tenbears was kind enough to send me one, and unfortunately I've been too lazy to put it into a handle. And I apologize for that, Dave. I do thank you for that, and I will use that. And there we go. We're going to call this one done. So I trimmed that up a little bit. Maybe we'll come back in another video and make an arrow out of it. So, alright, just a quickie. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Stay safe, stay happy, and I'll see you next time.